Hello there. Welcome to my channel, Snips by Kelly. I'm Kelly, and today I have a single page layout that uses the Storybook Moments Collection and focuses on creating interesting backgrounds with less and also combining elements to create interest. Now, I'm using some of my own inspiration from the past, and this is a patchwork quilt layout that I created in 2023, I believe. And I actually created the patchwork background because I had limited elements and ingredients, and I was trying to stretch a simply scrap and layout. Now, we're not short on supplies today, but I'm going to scrapbook this photo of my granddaughter Hattie Elaine and her bunny Fluffernutter. And I wanted to have a country vibe, and so I've pulled out some of the Lost Lagoon pattern out of the Storybook Moments DSP. I also have some pecan pie strips, some Lost Lagoon strips, and a little bit of the Timeless plaid in the center there that also comes in the Storybook Moments collection. Now I'm going to give you all of these measurements, but first let's dirty these strips up with pecan pie. All of these measurements, all of these strips are 1-inch strips, and the concept is that you just get smaller and smaller. So I'm starting with 1 by 9-inch strips, and I'm going all the way around, filling in the notches that are left over as you go around a 10 by 10 square. Now the 10 by 10 square is basically going to be wasted. It's not going to show, so you can use any ugly paper that you want in the background, or if you feel like you're very even, you can actually mount that on the interior of a 10 1/4 by 10 1/4, leaving a 1/4 inch edge. Now that we have 4 1 by 9-inch strips, we're going to take a 1 by 8 for the transition, and then we need 2 1 by 7s after that, because you're going to just get smaller and smaller. And then after the 2 1 by 7s, we need 2 1 by 6s, and then we have a 1 by 5 transition. And then we need 2 1 by 4s, and then 2 1 by 3s, and the plaid in the center is a 2 by 2. So you get the concept that we're just getting smaller and smaller as we go to the inside. And we're going to create that quilting effect. Now, I'm not a quilter, and I will admit I'm a bit envious of my quilter friends. I actually have a lot of friends that scrapbook and quilt, and I've always been so envious. My grandmother made quilts, she crocheted, and I have so many heirloom quilts from my grandmother that are absolutely precious to me. So I would love to do a page like this to feature my grandmother's quilts. I think that would be so neat. But one of the reasons I like to find ways to create interesting background elements is I don't always want to have the same plain cardstock or a pattern paper in the back. I like to sometimes make the background a focal element. I do have some people say, well, when you create such a beautiful background, it's really hard to cover it up. But honestly, I love when this kind of a background just peeks out, that you can see elements of that, and you can see all of the different beauty of that background, but you're also still focusing on either the story or the photo. So once I have all of this together, we're going to combine some elements. So the other thing that I wanted to focus on in this video is combining elements. I wanted to be able to combine some inking, some stamping, some ephemera, some die cuts, and do a combination. I really think a combination of elements creates so much interest in a page. And I have done pages where the entire page is ephemera only. I've done pages where the entire page is stamping only. I've done die cutting only. I've done Cricut cutting only. But my favorite pages are those that combine elements. It also makes it a little bit easier for you because you can pick and choose your elements, some of them that are already created, and then some of them that you can quickly create yourself by using just a few of each type. Now, I'm not going to profess that my quilting square is perfect, but it's the concept, the country vibe concept in the back. I think this would be a great background for gardening, for walks, for vintage homes or country homes, for farmhouse, for animals, for mothers, for grandmothers. It would be really, really pretty for so many themes. So now I'm trying to decide on my background. Now, often when I'm just having a little bit of a background that shows, and I'm going to gut most of it except the edges, I typically do kind of go with a busy pattern. I usually go with a busy hero pattern, and then I lay a plain or solid cardstock on top of it. It's sort of my go-to. But because the quilting pattern has a lot to look at, I'm thinking that I want to go either more monochromatic and more neutral, like with the pattern that I've already used in the square, or I want to go solid. I do end up going with solid Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to mount the quilt with foam tape, the quilting piece. So it has the quilting piece that's 10 by 10 on a 10 1/4 by 10 1/4, very vanilla, that I have inked the edges on, popping that up on a 12 by 12 Lost Lagoon. Now, of course, you can gut out the Lost Lagoon piece in the back to be able to conserve, and I'm going to ink the edges of that. What I love about the Storybook collection, and I just briefly showed it in the beginning because I have showed it and showed it and showed it on my channel. I did a full project and product review. It's about 48 minutes long, but I don't even know how many projects that I created and shared to go along with the product drop video there, but I'll link that one in the description. And I've also created other layouts with it that I'll link in the description. And I've also done a comparison video between the Sweet collection and the scrapbooking workshop kits that shows that product in great detail. Now, I did a brief little shot there of the busy background to show you why I went with the more neutral background. I've mounted Hattie Elaine's photo on a 4 1/8 by 6 1/8 very vanilla and a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 misty moonlight. And what's interesting about this collections is it has combinations of blues. Now, you wouldn't necessarily think about putting the Lost Lagoon with the misty moonlight and then with the little more lavender tones like in the boots, but it totally works. Now, I'm creating some 2 by 3 inch tags simply by snipping the corners off of those tags. It's a great way to make a fast go-to tag by hand, and then I use one as my pattern to create others. So I created one out of the back side of one of the Timeless Plaid patterns, and then I also created another one out of Misty Moonlight cardstock, and then of course one out of the very vanilla cardstock. So I'm actually going to, I created these pots out of the Storybook Garden die set, and you can stamp pots from the stamps in that set, or you can simply die cut an outer and an inner part of the pot and put that together. So I thought how cute it would be to stack the pots, fill the pots with the ephemera, cute ephemera pieces, and add just a couple other elements. It makes for such fast embellishing. So I took some of that Timeless Plaid and I put that underneath the frame. So the Timeless Plaid that I used in the center of the pots actually got quite a bit of it got covered up, but as I change and I rearrange my ephemera, I really do want some of that Timeless Plaid to peek out underneath the pot, but I also added some of that same pattern behind the frame. The frame was made with the Storybook Friends stamp and die that also comes in the Storybook Moments collection, and there's several different frames, and I thought it was just so fun to add the frame. Originally, I thought perhaps I might do a little bit of journaling in the frame, and then I actually just loved how the plaid stuck out of the back and how I can just use the ephemera around it to create a cute country frame. I'm adding some boots, some carrots, some florals, some seeds, and the ephemera sheets that come in the Storybook Moments are 12 by 12, and you get 2 of them, so you get a great plenty. And I love the combination of the textures, the styles, so you've got some some die cut in there. You got some inking in there. We're going to be adding some stamping. You got lots of ephemera in there. You've got the 1-inch strips in the background. It's really coming together with a variety of textures, colors, and different bits, and I love that. I do think that we can jazz it up in quite a few ways by maybe adding some journaling around the tags, which is a go-to. There's also some antique pearls that come with this collection that, of course, would look really, really cute. I love that little mouse, so I've torn off his tail so his tail could stick out, and I've been using him and using him. There's several on the die cut sheet. There's a couple on the die cut sheet, and I've been using him as a little peekaboo character. He's been peeking out of quite a few of my my focal or feature layouts that I've been using to feature this collection. One of the reasons that I wanted to do this layout in a process video is it's a layout that I showed when I showed my project and product drop video. And sometimes when I show those on those videos, I really like to come back later and show everyone how I did create that, because I do that when I look through catalogs and other things and I want to recreate it. I really want to see how that was created. So of course, with Hattie Elaine here, who's my country girl, she has 4-H, she shows bunnies and sheep, and she has calves, and she's just an animal lover. But I thought, how perfect is the stamp from the collection called Some Bunny Loves You. But I also think we can put another little banner here on Very Vanilla and just create a notch or a dovetail in the end that says Happy Spring, and put that on the bottom to have a little balance in words. So I don't have any word stickers or words or titles. So the Storybook Suite is not the same as the Scrapbooking Workshop, which again, I'll link in the description, a comparison between the suites and the Scrapbooking Workshop kits and the pattern paper DSP, the DSP and the sticker sheet. There is a difference in all three, and I will link in the description that, but because we're using the suite collection, there aren't words or word stickers or word die cut punch outs. And so the stamp comes in so handy to be able to add words. And I love Some Bunny Loves You as a smaller title. It doesn't always have to be this huge title. And by using the smaller title, I'm able to show off the background. And I really, really love that. So no layout is complete until you add the bling. So I'm adding the antique pearls around. You can see that I've added black lapel lines around the tags just to add some added interest. And I love how it's come together. We've got a beautiful background just simply made out of 1-inch strips. We have a combination of dies and stamping and ephemera and inking techniques to create a very beautiful focal layout for my Hattie Elaine and Fluffer Nutter. Won't you please hit like, subscribe, the notifications bell, shoot me a comment and share. I'd love to know your thoughts and what your favorite things are. And if you're a quilter, let me know if you're one of those quilters that I envy because of your amazing talents. Come back soon right here on Snips by Kelly.